Okay. Fun time of year. Obviously, we be going at it for a little bit, and I call these dog days a little bit. Guys are ready to play against somebody else and compete against somebody else. I feel really good about our team. They're a working group. I think we have really good length on this team. I think we have good depth on this team. This team is very competitive, and we've had some really, really, really competitive practices. So it's a fun group. I'm expecting a lot of good things out of this group.
Questions? Which newcomers have really stood out for you so far?
I think every kid that's new on our team has had their moments, Larry. I think, if I could say one guy's been overly impressive than the other, I like to keep it general and say that all those guys have had their moments. Obviously, Brandon Rochelle is a very, very good player. I think he's going to be terrific. Isaiah Hill, I think, has been really terrific. He's a little nicked up right now with his ankle, but I think he's been super talented at times. And Manny Agbo has made great strides and improvements. Joshua Early, I think as a freshman, he's had moments where he's been really, really dominant at practice. I use that word because he's been impressive. So all those guys have had their moments. You talk about Curtis and Keyshawn. We know those guys, and but those guys that are lacing them up have had really, really good moments.
Have you heard on Keyshawn's waiver?
I have. His waiver was denied. And the appeal process was denied, and it's just really disappointed for Keyshawn. You guys will get to know Keyshawn and who he is as a young man, and disappointed for him. I mean, I think as a coach, we'll play guys and be able to rotate and do some things, but for him and his story was compelling, and which to say that this process isn't consistent, I think, is the right word. And, I thought he had a legitimate, from a humanistic standpoint, to be eligible to play. And disappointed by that for him. But I think we all can be positive to him and for him and encourage him and that he has this year to really get better and develop and get stronger and do some good things.
He will have to redshirt this year?
It'll be
his redshirt year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're preparing for that possibility, obviously, but what do you see your guard rotation looking like?
Well, obviously you got, Elijah and Isaiah and Lawson and Darian, and Brandon will play some small forward. So we got a lot of guys we can rotate in there. And Curtis is in the waiver process too, so we haven't heard on Curtis's situation. So I think, who will start, we got our first time we tip it off a little bit Sunday in a close scrimmage with Oklahoma State. I don't know yet. I think Elijah, obviously his experience in playing, and Lawson, those two guys, I probably feel like they would be in the starting lineup and from a guard standpoint. But how we do what we do with our rotation other than that, haven't decided yet.
You guys have obviously lost a couple of the key players from last year's team. How long of a process to get kind of the feel for the team and the rhythm of the rotation, everything figured out? How far does that go in the season, do you think?
It varies from team to team. I think, we do have some new guys we're counting on to be play an intricate part of our success. So we will need those guys to come along. I think that we have good talent, though. I like the ability of our kids, the newcomers we brought on this team. Sooner the better, obviously. But I really feel good about where we're at right now at this point in time. You don't really quite know exactly until you start playing against somebody else. from our experiences and seeing us compete against each other, I like our talent level. You know, we lost some key guys from last year's team, but everybody does. But I like the guys we brought in. I think they'll be more than capable of helping us have some success this year.
What are you expecting from Reggie?
You know, Reggie's a guy that's very, very talented. With his size. I didn't even mention Reggie, and I'm sorry about that. That's my blunder because I got too many newcomers. I mean, we got too many new guys. But Reggie's obviously a guy that would be in that starting role possibility. With his 6'6" size and his ability to do everything. I mean, he can pass, dribble, catch, shoot. I mean, he does it all. And he's had some times at practice where he's been really, really good. He's a little nicked up, a little banged up now, so hopefully that he'll get back. I don't know that he will compete in our scrimmage on Sunday, but he's definitely a guy there's a rotational guy that is very important to us. And that's my blunder on the guard play.
You guys now don't have any players on this roster now that had made an NCAA tournament with you guys back then. Does that present any kind of challenge for you to kind of convey the success that the team can have?
No, I think we've got enough guys that are hungry, that have a competitive spirit and want to play in postseason. That's a goal every year, and I think this team is more than capable of getting on a run and having a shot at playing in postseason. I really do, and a lot will depend on how we can get the chemistry and get this thing together, because talent-wise, I feel good about where we're at and being able to play in postseason. Martin Zibano and Lawson Creed has been here for 4 years, and those guys have fought hard and developed, and they're really good leaders. And I think their locker room presence, it will be important to convey that.
Coach, what are you seeing in the competitive nature of your scrimmages? Because I think that, and how does that make your team better?
I look at a guy like Martin Zibano, as we talk about Martin, he didn't go against a guy like Manny Agbo every day. But obviously you go against a guy like that when we play some teams in our league with that kind of size, 7 foot, with the presence and the banging. That has to help you. That has to help you get better, as a team when you have that kind of competitive nature going at each other every day. You add the guys we added in our guard backcourt in terms of, even like you talk about Curtis and Keyshawn going against Isaiah and Lawson every day. I mean, it's super competitive. The kid Isaiah Hill, the young man from California, I think he's, our fan base, you guys are going to see it. He's very talented, but when he and Isaiah are going at it every day, it has to help you. It helps each other get better, and they're competing with each other. So, but I'm seeing that every day, Bruce. And we've done a lot of bone on bone, a lot of scrimmaging against each other, and if I could say one guy's getting the better of each guy, it's day to day. That tells you when you got a competitive team, and you got some good balance.
How good is the conference looking this year?
Conference is very good. I mean, you got Memphis, who had the #1 recruiting class in the country in our league. So I think they'll be one of the better teams in the country and in our league. And then, but you look at Houston, you look at Wichita State and UConn, Temple. Everybody's good. I mean, I don't think everybody's made great improvements. We had multiple teams make the NCAA tournament last year, and I don't think there's no difference in this year. We'll have 4, 5, 6 teams to make the NCAA tournament this year. I think everybody's playing a competitive non-league schedule. You look at our non-league schedule and playing on the road at K-State, at Arkansas, at Vanderbilt, with a good Boise State team from the Mountain West coming in here, and Colorado State. Our league all have beefed up their out-of-conference schedule. So I expect our league to be super competitive, and as it was last year.
Anything more for Coach?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all being here.